Hello friends, I am Dr. Deepak Garg. I am an orthopedic surgeon and today we will discuss about osteochondritis dissecans. So it is a pathologic lesion affecting articular cartilage and subchondral bone, and in other words we can say it as an avascular necrosis of cartilage and subchondral bone, and this is a most common source of loose body inside the knee. If we look at the pathophysiology of the osteochondritis dissecans, so there is some avascularity. So there can be multiple etiologies for avascularity. It can be trauma, it can be genetic, it can be developmental, it can be metabolic. So there can be multiple etiologies for the avascularity, and then it will lead to the subchondral bone which will become necrotic due to avascularity, and then because the blood supply to the cartilage comes from the subchondral bone, so there is a lack of the blood supply to the subchondral bone. So ultimately the degenerative changes will start in the overlying cartilage region, and that will lead to the gradually the cartilage will separate from the adjacent bone and the cartilage, and that will lead to the loose body formation inside the knee joint. So if we look at it, the most common site of osteochondritis dissecans is in the knee, and the most common site is in the knee is the lateral aspect of the medial femoral condyle, and the medial side is a more weight bearing site in the knee, and in 20 to 30% of the patient it is seen bilaterally, and it is seen more in males as compared to the female, and the age group for the disease is 12 to 19 years. So it is seen mainly in the teenagers. So if the patient present to us, so what will be the symptoms? So most probably the patient will have a long history of pain, and there will be a vague aching discomfort in the knee, and frequently of several months of duration. 80% of the patient will have symptom more than 14 months, and there can be symptoms like catching, popping, and many patients may have history of trauma, like 40 to 60% of the patients may have history of trauma. So when we will examine the patient, we can have effusion, there can be limited range of motion because of the pain, and if we do the meniscus test like McMurray's test, we can have the meniscus test positive. We can see the quadriceps atrophy, or patient may walk with the external rotation gait, that is we call it as Wilson sign, and this is to avoid contact of the medial femoral condyle with the medial tibial spine. So we can go for various investigations. Usually we go for the radiograph. Normally we go for AP and lateral radiograph, that will be normal. We can go for tunnel view for specifically osteochondritis dissecans or intercondylar notch view. Then we go for MRI. MRI will assess the fragment attachment and viability. Then let's classify the disease. So based on the notch view of the X-ray and the MRI, so stage 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just look at the MRI because that is the more significant clinically. So in a stage 1 patient will have thickening of the articular cartilage, and in stage 2 there can be articular cartilage breach, and there can be only a fibrous attachment that is not displaced from the side, it is still there. There is a fibrous attachment of the cartilage. In stage 3 it is high signal because the synovial fluid will enter the cracks and it will give a high signal, and in stage 4 we will be able to see a loose body inside the knee joint. So 1, only thickening, 2, there is a breach but synovial fluid is not entered, 3, synovial fluid entered, and 4 is loose body. So let's now talk about the treatment. If we can want to go for asymptomatic, usually conservative treatment only with patient with asymptomatic and young patient with open physis, where we tend to go asymptomatic treatment. So immobilization, activity modification, we can keep the patient non-weight bearing, and anti-inflammatory analgesics we can prescribe. And for the surgical treatment we have various options. We can go for drilling, we can go for excision of the loose body. Excision we do only in cases where the patient will not have much problems and it's a small lesion, and particularly in a less weight bearing area. And then we can go for debridement, we can go for microfracture, we can go for fixation of the fragment, or we can go for grafting like OAT and ACI, as we have seen in the video on osteochondral defects, our previous video. So let's look at drilling because that's the most common thing that we can go for. So drilling we go for in stable lesions, that means in stage 1, 2 and 3, and in immature patients where non-operative treatment fails. So let's look at the various stages and then how drilling helps. So the articular cartilage, if it is intact, then we go for drilling. That drilling means to a depth of 1 to 1.5 centimeter we drill it to promote the vascularity, and if the stage of early separation, then we drill it, but it is still not stable, it may fall, so we pin this in place. So there are various mechanism of pinning. We can use headless screws, cannulated screws, biodegradable pins and screws. And if the stage of partial detachment, we tend to go for removal of the fibrous tissue to the bleeding, and then we again pin this in place. And if there are multiple craters, there are multiple holes, small holes of the defects, then we can do trephine. That means we just sew a hole and then we do drilling, and then fresh loose body replaced and pinned. If the lesion is more than 3 cm, then we have to go for arthrotomy. We have to reshape and we have to fit the loose body in the defect, and then we have to fix it. So again, the fixing devices we already know: headless screw, cannulated screw, biodegradable pins and screws. So if there is a loose body, there is an articular defect. So there are other methods of surgical treatment we have already discussed in our previous video, including the autologous chondrocyte injection or autologous cartilage transfer. So for the detail of these other options of surgical treatment, we can go to our last video of osteocartilaginous defects. So this was about today's video about osteochondritis dissecans, its clinical features, examination findings, and how to diagnose it and the treatment. So this was about today's video. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.